The following program is paid for by the Charlie Butler team. Looking for tips on selling your home? Tune into the Charlie Butler Show right here on WGBF AM every Sunday at 9 a.m. The Charlie Butler Show, where your questions get answers. Charlie guarantees it.
Good Sunday morning, Tri-State. This is the Charlie Butler Show. And as I usually am on Sunday, I'm Charlie Butler. We got a full cast of characters here this morning. You know, last 2 weeks it was me and Mindy Woodward was guest hosting, but we have David Crow back with us from Churchill Mortgage. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Charlie. Good morning, folks.
And we've got the president of the Charlie Butler teams and the Butler DeArmond Network, Candace DeArmond, who's also back. Good morning, Candace.
Good morning, Charlie. Good morning, David.
Good morning.
Tri-State.
And we've got a mystery guest here in a little while. We're not going to introduce her just yet.
Mystery.
But anyway, Jordan and I were talking about it. Jordan, didn't you think it was a little strange that these two were gone at the same time for a couple weeks?
It was a little mysterious.
It was.
A little mysterious.
I was only gone 1 week.
Yeah, 2 shows.
2 shows.
And so was David.
I
So-
forgot.
So,
about
yes.
so you two
Yes.
were gone. Technically, you two were gone 2 weeks. So
That's right.
David
Yeah,
was gone
yeah.
and Candace was gone. And just, you know, you can put 2 and 2 together in my mind, you know. And
In Charlie's mind.
In Charlie's.
In Charlie's mind.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
only Charlie's
yeah.
mind.
Well, David was in a much prettier place and on a vacation. I was working. Thanks,
David was actually at a wedding. Is that what
I know.
Yeah.
So are you trying to lead up to that? You know,
No, he was in
your
Florida,
life?
though.
No. I was in Nashville.
Oh, I thought
Nashville,
you were in
Tennessee.
Florida.
No.
Oh, well, that wasn't.
It was.
no
it was a great time.
Yeah,
But it was a long weekend, 4th of July weekend,
Yes.
and wedding, and all kinds of good stuff down there. Tons of family and friends.
Yeah.
and
yeah.
sounds like you guys stayed well hydrated too.
We did stay well hydrated when you're downtown Nashville. That's very easy to do. I will, if you recall, it was only about 105
Right,
degrees.
you were thirsty.
And, yes, and we did an outdoor wedding.
Oh, extra
Thank God
thirsty.
for indoor receptions.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, 5:30 on 5th of July, and fortunately we had some clouds move in. But all of us, we'll just say, gentlemen in suits, we were perspiring
I bet you
as
were.
the sun just beamed down on us.
Yeah.
But it was a great time.
I was in an outdoor wedding in Phoenix once in early October.
And everybody says, "Oh, that's a dry heat." Yeah,
That's
the way the oven is a dry heat.
Yeah. Now Mackenzie Jines also. Good morning, Mackenzie.
Good morning, Charlie.
Since you're going to talk, you know, I mean,
Well, I was going to say, I got married the beginning of October in Phoenix, Arizona. So
I
outside.
was at your wedding.
He was.
yeah, I was. Yeah, no, it's hot, isn't it?
It's definitely warm. Yeah, my husband was dying.
Yes, it's a dry heat.
Yeah, I was the first time that we went was another niece's wedding, and first time I'd ever been out there. So we're going to go play golf.
Yes,
You know, good. Stand at Camelback. You know, nice course. So we'd show up at 10 o'clock that morning. Now this is different in August in Phoenix.
Oh,
And-
even better.
Yeah, and so there's nobody there, and we think this is strange for a course this nice. Why is there nobody here? And we walk in the pro shop. Where's everybody? Nobody plays golf during the day here.
No, it's our off season.
They play early in the morning or late in the evening.
Yep.
They said, well, yeah, we won't play 18, you know, which even back then was a couple $100 a person.
Oh, yeah.
You know. So we lasted 3 holes.
Lived after
3 holes, and I mean, yeah, it's 120 degrees. It was one of those times.
Yes.
118, 120 degrees. And get back, I'm telling my niece, she goes, it's a dry heat, though. I said, I don't care. I said, well, it's 120 degrees. Friggin' hot.
It's heat.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of playing in Scottsdale, Arizona, and it was hot. And I always remember the golf cart girls would come around, whether it was drinks, but out there they had massive coolers that had towels in it and ice water.
Yep.
And so they would come up to you and offer you a towel, and you literally take this towel soaked in water, put it around your neck. Your shirt would become so wet. When you would get to the green, you would hang the towel on the golf cart. You would walk out on the green. You would putt, and by the time you got back to the cart, your shirt was completely dry. So but yes, definitely different scenery out there.
There is a picture of me, Mark Spain, Adam Merrick, and Ryan Dallas that was in Realtor Magazine when we were playing Victoria in one of those 100-degree humid days.
Yes.
And Mark, I don't know how Mark and Ryan still look like they did. Adam and I, you could tell our hair was dead. We had the towels around our neck, the whole bit. We were.
Our humidity is definitely a killer.
Yeah.
And Candace, you didn't do anything fun, did you?
No,
While you were gone?
I had a closing. I mean, I guess that was fun, but I had a closing.
We're taping, folks. Candace is not closing properties on Sunday. That's why I shouldn't have told people we were taping. I said, Candace worked so hard, she'll close them on Sunday morning. She'll drag those title company people out of their house.
You get out here and close this for my people.
I've done Saturday closings, never a Sunday.
I've done Christmas Eve. A few times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I can't say that.
Yeah, I've done. Yeah. Client who's been on the show, Dave Herman.
Oh, yeah, no, Dave. Yep.
So Dave was selling a house, and the girl worked at Old National. She's a teller at Old National, and a guy named Ralph Frazier, who's around forever. He's either really old or dead now.
One of the two.
But Ralph, he said, Dave, I'd said, well, Dave wants to close on Christmas Eve, and because that's when the buyer really wanted to close. No, can't do it. There's no way we're getting anybody in here on Christmas Eve. So I called Dave up, and, Dave's done pretty well. He just, okay, he said, I'll call you back in a little while. And he called me back. He said, just be there it's early. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning. He said, they'll close. And Ralph goes, I show up, Ralph's standing there. I don't know who he called, but he's got everybody in here. They told let's get that thing closed.
Interesting.
And so let's see. And other big news: Jordan now has indoor plumbing.
Oh, congratulations!
Got him an indoor one.
Stand up applause on everybody. Yeah. Looking good. It's very bare at the moment. There's nothing in there other than a shower and a toilet. That's about it. It is fully renovated and bare at the moment. So I'm probably going to get some of my concert posters or something, throw them up in there like the man cave I am.
So you're going to turn your bathroom into a man cave.
I mean, everywhere else in my house is.
Okay.
You walk in and see signed albums and everywhere else throughout the house.
So did you have posters in the outhouse too?
I did. Meatloaf specifically. Like a bat out of hell will be gone when the Lord comes.
Little Paradise by Dashboard Lights, the outhouse, huh?
Happy Sunday morning.
Mackenzie's over here, the youngster of the group, saying, I have no idea what they're talking
Like, who eats meatloaf in the outhouse?
That makes it even more funny.
Now, Mackenzie can probably relate because she lived in Petersburg.
I do, yep.
And there's still outhouses in Petersburg, right?
Did you really have an outhouse?
Yeah.
I thought,
No. God love Candace.
I was really getting. Okay, that's enough.
Jordan lived in town. He did a full bathroom remodel.
Well, that's what I thought.
Yes. Yeah, then Mackenzie's over going, yes, there's outhouses.
every couple
Kid is
miles.
like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm out of touch.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, that's
You
funny.
didn't seem like an outhouse guy to me.
I think you creased your hair a little too long.
I
You
think
had
I
too much
did.
heat in there this
I
morning.
did. I
Yeah.
burnt my brain. I was really like, didn't know.
Well, he had to get indoor plumbing. His girlfriend will never marry him.
I know, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Never, ever.
So, Mackenzie, okay. So Mackenzie's from Petersburg.
I am.
That's her. And where's your primary markets, Mackenzie? You're part of the Charlie Butler team, but you handle a different market than the rest of us.
I do. I like to be in Pike County, Gibson County, and I go to Du Bois County every now and again.
Right. And she's sneaking into Warwick County, too.
Sneaking into Warwick, yep.
Yeah, and doing an open house in Vandenberg on one of Candace's lists.
I am. I'm super excited. I hope everybody comes out to see me. Because
Where is that at?
Sitting there bored. What is it? 1034 Watership?
Yep.
Yep.
1034 Watership as a new construction by Ryan Breck Homes. Beautiful new construction. And
It is Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m.
So Saturday from 1 to 3. And be sure to go out because, seriously, they did a fantastic job on this.
Oh, they did. It's really a nice house.
And
I'm showing it today, too. So
get
a peek.
we're gonna flip over to David now, Candace. But what are we going to talk about?
What are we going to talk
No,
about?
what we remember we were making the right.
Oh.
You can do it.
Well, I'm not as good as Josie is.
No, you're not as good as
We're
Josie.
going to talk about the rights. David Crow, and we're going to talk about the rights.
They were doing you in the sales meeting.
Thank you all.
I don't have good news, folks. We're just
I
got
don't
these
have
rights.
good news. That's exactly it. Do you know that, honestly, when I was living in Lexington and spent 9 years in Lexington, and so a lot of the accent was lost. And then when I would come back to Western Kentucky or here, they were like, you speak differently. And I let myself to feel more at home and around people. I purposely, and sometimes I just over amplify the redneck in me. Yes.
Well, that's an accent that I'm very familiar with because my family's from Kentucky, so I actually really like that accent. But
I'm glad to know that I was topic of conversation in the sales meeting.
Well, and actually, it started out as a good time because we were talking about. We'll just say we were talking about some lenders that didn't get a flattering review from people. But then we moved on to those that did, and you were on the good side of it.
I was on the good side.
The good side.
Awesome.
Let them know. Call David Crow.
Call David Crow. I love it.
So David, how, with people seeing the stock market go up and there's some talk of the Fed's reducing the rate, has this been a good thing for the market?
Yes. The last month, I'll say month and even improving the last 2-3 weeks. So we'll talk about rates. Rates are improving and rates are going to continue to improve. It's taken a while. We've only been discussing this for a year.
Yeah.
We all know in the industry. I was just on the phone with a gentleman this morning, and he's thinking about refinancing because he's hearing. And we talked about where his position was. And as Charlie said, we're in July right now. Based on a lot of factors which have occurred in the past 2 weeks, especially in regards to President Trump, the election, all the good stuff we're going to hear about between now and November. I'm not going to get on a political soapbox one way or another. I'm only here to report the facts.
Right.
David, but what you're saying, I talked to a person, a wealth advisor, it's a friend, and I said, so what does Wall Street want? And I said, who they want to win, Trump or Biden? He said, they don't care. Said they want one thing. They want divided government.
They want divided government.
Yeah.
Now, the potential is, especially if you're, again, not on a political soapbox, but we all have access to news, and even inside of the Democratic ranks, they are having a division inside there in terms of who some of them want to actually be the presidential nominee at this stage.
But her point was they really didn't care as long as, let's say, the Democrats took Congress or took the House. They're fine, or vice versa.
Or vice versa.
Whichever way that happens to go.
Yeah.
So Wall Street folks would actually prefer divided government because, honestly, they don't have a lot of respect for politicians, and they just think they'll screw things up.
But where I was going with that is that some of the leadership in the Democratic Party, again, being on news outlets you have access to and recordings and things going on behind closed door Democratic meetings, that many of them, when you talk about the Senate, the House, they're nervous that if the current candidate stays there, that the other people lose their jobs.
Right.
And so that in itself would not lend itself to divided government. So, but ultimately going back, there's great improvement, softening of cost, rates improving. All of that is good news. I will say on a call I was on yesterday, and you mentioned Wall Street. Okay. So that goes back to Jerome Powell and the Fed Reserve predicting. They're now saying there's a very slim chance at the end of the July meeting, there'll be a rate cut. But the rate cut is actually being discussed at the end of July.
Most of them think September.
That's where right now the stats are looking at 100% chance of at least a 25 basis point cut in September. And now, depending on what we may be looking at 50 basis point cut in September. But the odds for a 25 in September are at 100% on this day that we're having this discussion right now.
And you and I discuss this all the time, but just so people know, directly, that has nothing to do with mortgage rates. It does psychologically.
Yep.
It does. But it's tied to the 10-year bond.
Yes. Yeah. And overall, what we have said, Charlie and I on this radio show, we just need to know for sure that rates, they're not going to raise. We have stabilized, and we're going to start cutting. And even though they may cut 25 basis points, you may see lenders such as Churchill Mortgage, it could be a significant drop in interest rate because we know at that point going forward, we're probably going to be receiving additional cuts.
Well, I know you're very competitive with Churchill and interest rates. So, for example, right now, if someone with above average credit, we'll say, walks in, and so what would the rate probably be?
So
today?
looking at what I did yesterday, because unfortunately, prior to the past few weeks, nationwide, all lenders, everybody just started, going up and staying up. I looked at rate yesterday for a gentleman. It was 6.375. Again, we haven't had any cuts. Nothing's been felt in the market. If it's a
That's
government
good right
loan,
now, though, isn't it?
no, it's great.
Candace, you and Mackenzie, I mean, you guys are out there looking at this all the time. That sounds like a good rate for you.
That's exactly. I had another one at 6.625, and I can tell you two other lenders were over 7% with this borrower.
Okay.
So that's where I am seeing the competition. Charlie and I have discussed before. Churchill Mortgage is a debt-free mortgage company. You don't hear of that. So in these times, even some of our local banks and local credit unions with lack of deposits and so forth, they've had to push rates up. And I have had borrowers, but again, based on FHA, VA, USDA versus conventional and so forth, depending on you said above average credit score. Charlie did.
I was getting ready to go someplace else with this.
Now, when that's the thing is less than above average, and I'll just say above 740. Below 740, it can definitely be in the high sixes, low sevens. I know in talking with title companies in Indiana and Kentucky, they've seen my closings, and then they're sharing with me. There have been lenders here locally that have been in the high sevens, low eights. Still, they're doing closings. So I know from a competitive standpoint, once someone quote unquote shops me with local competition, I don't lose to local competition. I just don't. Yeah. Knock on wood. So, and if somebody's close to, and I will say this. It's sometimes challenging when somebody, if it's a local bank or credit union, and they have their checking account, savings account, and they're like, oh, here. So I have to have a significant savings for them to make that move. I just can't be side by side or equal because they feel like, no, I just need to keep it all at one location and blah, blah, blah. But no, if I go head to head with somebody here locally, I just need the opportunity to share with what I can do. Hey, real quick, can I just share this? Folks, if you're listening, we need education. Fannie Mae just produced their report. So all you good folks listening, only 10% of the U.S. public understood they could buy a home for 5% or less down payment across the U.S.
Really?
Only 10%.
Really?
Yes. And of the active home buyers that are in the market right now, only 1 out of 7 people knew they could buy a home for 5% or less. From the report, the median response from however many thousands they polled, the median was either 15 to 20% is required down payment. And that is the active shoppers in the market today. 1 out of 7 had no clue they could buy for 5% or less.
I believe that because I've had several buyers or people that turned into buyers that we just happened to be having a conversation, and they'll say, I want to buy a house, but it's going to take me a while to save my 20% down. And it's the 20% down that I hear, that I've heard.
Exactly.
And I have converted those people into right now buyers.
With FHA and things like that.
Right.
Oh, FHA, USDA, Indiana Housing, Kentucky Housing.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking, folks, Indiana Housing, Kentucky Housing, USDA, VA. Those are zero down loans. You can put money if you choose, but those are zero down payment. And those numbers, even in today with all the technology, with all the TikToks, all the Reels, all the information out there, those are real hard facts and data of the number of people who are disqualifying themselves from being a homeowner because they falsely believe they need 20% down payment to buy a home.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to throw that education out there.
Yeah.
Mackenzie,
no.
you're mainly work more rural areas. So do you see a lot of USDA?
I try and get people to do USDA
Yeah.
because in Vanderburgh County you can't use it, but out where I am,
There's a portion of Vanderbilt.
Portion of
Yeah.
Vandenberg, the
Very northern
USDA.
part, but
Up
not
top.
Used to be bigger portion,
Yeah.
but the
but
the
everyone
city
I
keeps
talk
growing.
to up there, I'm like, it's zero down USDA. Like, let me help you out. So,
Those are great loans.
Yeah.
too. They are.
Oh, yeah.
One thing you've been talking about Churchill, we haven't talked about our sponsors yet.
Oh,
You know,
yes.
Our the Charlie Butler Real Estate Show is brought to you by Churchill Mortgage. And before this show, you heard about Churchill leading into this from Dave Ramsey. And Churchill's been a Dave Ramsey sponsor for 25 years plus. And Dave, I know, likes the fact that Churchill is a debt-free mortgage company.
It does.
So that's, as anybody listens to Dave Ramsey know, that's his thing. And but Dave always gives you their 1-800 number, which is great, and they got some great people there in Brentwood, Tennessee, to help you. But if you want to deal with somebody locally in Kentucky or Indiana, David Crow is the regional director. And David, what's the best way to get hold of you?
Folks tell you every week, except for the past 2 weeks I wasn't here. Every week,
And Candace.
call Candace. Cell phone number, you can call or text 270-222-0676.
Okay. So also brought to you by Bossy Title, who does just a great job in having everything prepared for you. People think that getting your title work together is such a big process. We send them a purchase agreement, and next thing we
Get it
know,
done.
we're ready to close.
Yep. Very smooth
and
process.
that Norm works all the time. And you get to see Norm, who is the CFO, the chief French bulldog officer, and Norm is also a quiet. But no, they do a great job. Any questions, just call Bossy Title and I had their number right here, and my phone will not let me back in. It is 421-4000, area code 812. So 812-421-4000. And so anyway, Churchill Mortgage, Bossy Title, great people to deal with, and we appreciate their sponsorship. So Candace, what's going on over there? You're texting a lot, not paying any attention.
I am. Well, I'm going back and forth with a photographer, and
Okay.
then I've got some buyers.
Well, that's
that-
what.
She's got new headshots coming up.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That is one
No,
of the
I
things
don't.
Stunning.
that's one of the things I was going to ask you. We've implemented where we want most of our homes done with professional photography now.
Yep.
So you're big into this. So give everybody the reason or why professional photography is so important.
Well, I think that a trained eye definitely catches more that, they pay attention to detail. That's what they do. Is the other thing is showing, you've seen some of these pictures where you'll have a realtor holding a cell phone and a mirror on, on the MLS or on Zillow, or whatever,
Right.
whenever people are looking online. A photographer knows how to not do that. They also know how to, capture a room to where you're not just looking at one corner of a room, where you can kind of see, oh, that's where this door leads, or that's what, or that's not a small room. It shows the property better. So,
Right. So,
I would think it just also overall enhances the number of inquiries and showings and people
Absolutely.
wanting to come out and take a look at the home.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bad photography, whenever people have cell phone pictures on a listing, whenever they go in and to me, I look and I'm like, oh, you could have shown that house so much better. It's worked in my favor before whenever I've had a buyer and
right.
it gave us less competition.
Yes. I love this is just sad to say, over the years. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So they take a picture of the kitchen and there's dirty dishes sitting in
Yeah.
the sink and around the sink. And I'm
Yes.
like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It never occurred to anybody to put them in the
move
dishwasher,
those.
do
Yes.
something. But I'm like, boy, you talk about just photos on the move and
Yeah.
on the go. But I'm like, really?
And take a picture of some, first thing you always tell people, declutter. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then you take pictures of all that clutter, you
Oh,
see
yeah.
that, and it's just, but no, well, the Charlie Butler team, almost the majority of our houses, we have professional photography. Mindy Woodward foreclosures, we don't always do that.
We don't always use a photographer on those. Yeah.
But Mindy certainly, those of you that follow Mindy online, if you don't, you should, because she has some interesting shots out there.
Yes, she does.
And
Anytime you throw the word foreclosure into the
There's
discussion, those are some hidden gems.
Yes, you can't clean the clutter.
but
And a
I'll
lot
tell you
of
what, I wish we had the amount of offers on all our properties.
I do.
Oh,
too.
I understand.
She has on hers.
Because they are,
The right buyer, right contractor, right. They are going back to my hidden gem.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they see right through that, and whether it's removing walls or remodel or how quickly they can turn that around. Yeah. So it's
David, we're interrupting their conversation.
Well, Mackenzie has a showing at 11.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to, if you
Make
need
sure.
to go, you can. That way you're not.
No, well,
we're gonna get her on there.
Mackenzie. So, how is the market up in? I mean, and I know it's different in different areas. So, how is your real estate market there now?
It's not as booming as it is down here in Vanderburgh County, which is kind of nice. Whenever a house comes on the market, it sits for a couple weeks, so it gives everybody an opportunity to take a look at it. But I don't know.
So, but
It's kinda slower.
But you're doing well, though.
I'm trying, yeah.
You're doing very well.
If I see something pop up that one of my buyers is interested in, I'm sending it to him right away because I'm like, let's get in here as fast as possible and see if you like it.
For those that listen that are up in that area, or even down, in Warwick, Pike, Gibson,
Du Bois.
help me out here, Mackenzie, Du Bois, Knox.
Yeah.
Call Mackenzie. Mackenzie, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
My cell phone number, call or text, 812-789-3997.
No, Mackenzie has done a great job, and we really appreciate everything you do,
Thank
Mackenzie.
you. Thanks for having me.
So, George, we still got a couple minutes to go, Mackenzie. We're, don't make me just talk to Candace, okay?
I just
Talk to
don't want her.
Candace.
I don't want her to speed to get to
No.
her appointment.
No,
That's
I'm
why
fine.
I was.
Oh, we're good.
No,
good.
Candace doesn't want you to speed. This is the person who has never been on time in her life.
Safety first.
No, I don't believe that for a minute, okay? Don't give me that crap. But
I think Jordan says we're about to time out.
one minute,
regardless.
Jordan. Has anybody got anything just burning they want to say this last minute?
Kid pre-approved before you go look at homes.
Please. Please.
Please do. And
It's an oldie but a goodie.
Right.
and don't go look at as we had this happen. David was involved. There was a lender that approved someone for roughly $230,000, and so it dragged on and on. They're just getting close every day. They're getting close, and so we tell people for us to hang in there. There's a new construction. The builder said, "Tell them somebody else." I said, "Well, why don't you go see David Crow?" And David says, "Oh," she said, "they're good.
They're
for
great.
for 180."
For 180.
Yeah,
USDA.
yeah.
That's rough.
Yes. And so they were only about $50,000 over buying power and ability. And so, yes, I try to be very accurate with folks and help steer them in the right direction. I don't like doing work for, just practice. I don't need any practice.
Just to kill some time.
Just to kill some time. No, I give everyone.
We are about out of time. So Mackenzie, thank you very much for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
Always glad to have you.
Thank you.
And again, what's your number?
812-789-3997.
Candace?
812-455-6338, or you can reach me on the team phone, and that is 812-430-1708.
And David, you want to give yours again?
Quickly, folks, 270-222-0676.
Or you can reach me at 812-499-7758. Jordan does not disclose his cell phone. So anyway, so for Candace DeArmond, Mackenzie Jines, David Crow, it's Charlie Butler. Have a great Sunday.
You've got real estate questions but don't know where to get the answers? Tune in here every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. as Charlie Butler, Evansville's own real estate expert, shares the latest news, info, and insider tips to help you make smart real estate decisions. Find him online at charliebutlerteam.com. This program has been paid for by the Charlie Butler team. From the Kate Foppel Ford Studios, this is Newstalk 1280 WGBF.